What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is a video request that I got from one of my subscribers on the Patreon. And you might remember I did a video maybe, I've been 5 or 6 days ago, something like that, where, might have been 4 or 5 days ago, where I put up an all-time team that I think all-time franchise team that I think could beat any team in NBA history as far as another all-time franchise team. And that was a Warriors all-time franchise team. And I believe my starting lineup for that team was Wilt Chamberlain, Nate Thurman, Rick Barry, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. And I think my bench was Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, Chris Mullin. I think I then had Baron Davis and Mitch Richmond in the backcourt, right? Although when I thought about it, you could put Tim Hardaway instead of Baron Davis. But, some people are like, well, why do you have Kevin Durant on the bench when, historically, he's a greater all-time player than Nate Thurman and Rick Barry, right? At least that's what most people think. And the answer is simple, because I don't really consider Kevin Durant one of the great all-time Warriors. I'm sorry. I know that his number is retired. I know that he's a two-time NBA champion, a two-time Finals MVP as a Warrior. I know he went to 3 NBA Finals as a Warrior, technically. But because I think he played 11 minutes in one game and then ruptured his Achilles. But I just don't consider him up there as a true Warrior because of how he joined the team. He joined a team that won 73 games a year before. And as much shit as LeBron gets for deck stacking, Kevin Durant, to me, was far more egregious. You join a team that literally was within a few possessions of winning back-to-back titles as a superstar, not as a contributing player, not as a role player, but as a star player, a player that was just 2 years at the time removed from an MVP. Nah, it's not the same. Nate Thurman, although he also played for the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers in his career, he's generally considered a Golden State Warrior. Matter of fact, he held it down at the center position after the departure of Wilt Chamberlain. And his best years were with the Golden State Warriors. And I'm a guy that believes more in longevity with a franchise as well as productivity. And Rick Barry, he was for many, many years in the 60s, before he left briefly playing the ABA, he came back in the early 70s. He was their best player. He led them to their third franchise championship, their first in Golden State. And he was clearly their best player. And in 75, he was by far their best player on that roster. And they won that improbable championship in 1975. So for me, they're much more deserving as all-time Warriors to be in that starting lineup as opposed to Kevin Durant. But he did win 2 championships, so that's why I put him on the team. But, Kevin Durant's also a guy who is, I think you should penalize him also because he's a front runner, as I said before. And, he's a guy that also shrinks in the occasion. With the Thunder, with the Nets, with the Suns, we have yet to see how it's going to work out with the Rockets, but, this is a guy that normally in those big game situations, he comes up small. So I just can't put him up there. It'll be like me putting Dennis Rodman ahead of Jerry Sloan, maybe, or Bob Love as a Bull all time. Now, some people might do it because he won 3 championships, but you know, I just couldn't do it because I think that those players are more closely associated with the Chicago Bulls franchise. You know what I'm saying? They played the vast majority of their careers, or the best part of their careers, with that team. They helped to elevate the Chicago Bulls to any type of preeminence that they even had back then. Also, it's even more egregious than with Dennis Rodman because the Bulls haven't won shit since Rodman departed. Even though it wasn't just Rodman, the Warriors went on to win another championship after Kevin Durant left. So, in my opinion, no, that's why I don't have him as an all-time great Warrior as far as starting lineup is concerned. And honestly, I think it's kind of debatable that he's better than Rick Barry anyway. It's kind of debatable anyway because Rick Barry, and this is if you include his ABA career, if you include his ABA career, I think he has 2 championships. Matter of fact, let me see something right quick. I mean, KD has more points and a higher career scoring average. But when you look at Rick Barry's overall career, let me see something. Yeah. When you include the ABA and the NBA, he's a 2-time champion, NBA Finals MVP. He is combined 12-time All-Star, NBA All-Star Game MVP in 1967. 9 times All-NBA First Team. One-time NBA All-NBA Second Team. Rookie of the Year. All-Rookie First Team. Scoring champion. Steals champion. Yeah, so when you look at his accolades, he's right there with him, and you could argue a little bit ahead of him because, he took a team to the finals in 1967 that, he didn't have a super team in 1967 with the Warriors. So, that's just how I look at it. Something you guys think.